What's going on? What's going on? I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. I hope all is well. Before I get started, listen, this is actually episode 200. And it's a fitting episode for me. It's a milestone, and I thank God for it. So that's why this particular episode, it's fitting because I'm going to honor my mom. You hear me speak about my mother quite often, but this particular episode, episode 200 on Napoleon's Corner, it's actually titled My Mother. So I'm going to, honor her obviously in this particular episode. Now, you may wonder why I have this on, right? It's symbolic for many reasons, and there's a story that goes along with it as I'm honoring my mother. When I first transferred to West Virginia from Pittsburgh, obviously, West Virginia, it gets cold. It gets cold. So my mom wanted to make sure that her baby boy would be warm, right? So my mother went out and she actually got me this coat to make sure that I would stay warm in Morgantown, West Virginia. And, obviously wearing this around campus and things of that nature, it definitely kept me warm. So all these years, obviously, you see me with it on, I kept it all these years. You're talking about my mother bought this particular coat for me 1986 to be exact. 1986. So I've had this coat since 1986. And it meant so much to me because, again, like I said, where I came from in Jersey City, we didn't have a lot. So for her to scrape up money to buy this coat for her baby boy, to make sure I was walking around West Virginia's campus warm, it means a lot to me. But again, that's just a testament, to the woman that my mother was. And this is quite warm. It keeps me warm. It kept me warm all those years. So it's a little bit too warm to have on in the house for this whole episode. So I'm gonna get a little
Let me get that off you. Let me get that. This how I met him too. This how I met you with this thing on. Walking through the projects, Marion Gardens.
So that's my talented and beautiful wife, Tracy Napoleon, aka Naya. And she's exactly right. That's how she met me. But my mom meant the world to me for many reasons, and I was blessed to have her because everything that I am was from my mother. She is the reason why I am the man I am today. She's the reason why I'm the husband that I am today, why I'm the father that I am today. She's the reason for all of that. My mother's prayers and teachings set the stage for my success. My mother gave me the blueprint when I was much younger. The importance of what it means to be anchored with principles, with morals, with character, with integrity, the work ethic, what it means to walk in your truth. When you tell someone something, you try your best to do, if it's in your power, you try your best to do what's right, and you try your best. If you say it, my mother was big on, you've heard me say this many times, it's because I've learned it from her, don't waste words. If you say it, mean it. Don't waste words. These are all things that, and principles that I'm anchored in my life because of my mother. You talking about a woman who came from South Carolina, raised 7 children. I'm the youngest of her 7, children. You're talking about a woman that buried 5 of her 7 children. For me to watch the strength of that woman go through each death and the faith that she showed in the perseverance and the courage that she showed through burying each of her children, and it was always the same. She would thank God for lending these children to her for the time period that they was before they passed. She would thank God after each death and would let him know, I appreciate you, Lord, for lending me my children for this amount of time. When I think back on her life and the trials and tribulations that she went through, I could only sit back and again, because I was the youngest, and learn from that courage, learn from that strength, learn from her work ethic, learn from her principles. And that's why I am the man that I am today. Obviously, I give all praise and honor to God, but I also thank him for blessing me with the kind of mother that poured all of those things into me as a child. The roots and where you come from, in which you come from, only grows and blossoms if it's watered properly, if it's nurtured properly, if it comes from good soil. My mother came from good soil. So when I look back on the tough times growing up as a kid, those tough and difficult times were nurtured from my mother and her making sure that I didn't fall under any type of pressure, any type of scrutiny. She wasn't that type of mom, very strong and steadfast. Once again, because she was steadfast and strong in her convictions on what she believed to be right. So when I say walk in your own truth, again, that's a staple from my mother because she didn't believe in mixing up her words with any type of lies or any type of deception. What you saw with my mom is what you got. As I said, a very faithful woman to the word, very direct in her delivery, but can talk to and did talk to each and every person. My mother was known as, where I grew up in Marion Garden Projects, as the mother of the projects. Everybody loved my mom. They would come and talk to her for hours. My mother was a seamstress, so she would sew. So she made clothes for many people who would come to her. When somebody ripped their pants and they needed to be, fixed or sewn or whatever, they would come to my mom. A blouse for weddings. My mother sewn many gowns for weddings, many suits for weddings, different things of that nature. My mom did all of that stuff for many, many years, many years. So when you sit back as a child and you're watching these things, you learn. And my mother, I didn't learn from just watching her. My mother we would long conversations. We would talk about things. I said, she really nurtured the man that I am today as a child. As a young child, she poured all of this stuff in to let me understand in this world, the most important thing, your word, your work ethic, your honor, like I said, the morals, the character, the integrity, all of those things that are necessary. That was poured into me as a child because she knew no matter what you want to do in your life, you need to be anchored by those things if you are going to be successful. And no matter what, no matter who comes against you, the bottom line is if you're anchored in those principles, you won't be shaken. Temptation won't even touch you because you know who you are. You know where you come from. And if you don't forget those values, if you don't forget those principles, you will always be rich with integrity. You will always be rich with character. You will always be rich with morals. You will always be rich with principles. That in itself is the foundation. That in itself is the very foundation of what success means, because you will never lose yourself, no matter what the temptations are, no matter what the riches are, no matter what the worldly trappings are. If you don't lose yourself with those principles, you will never lose yourself in temptation. My mother taught me that when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. The greatest testament And you've heard me say this many times. I watched my mother, like I said, she buried 5 or 7 children, but I watched my mother bury her 9-year-old daughter who saved my life in a house fire in Jersey City. I was 4 years old. You talk about the pain of watching your mom lose her 9-year-old daughter in a house fire, right? Each death of my siblings were difficult to bear, but this specifically hits because my sister Jean Esther didn't get a chance to live her life. Like I said, she was 9 years old. And me only being 4, like I said, she saved my life in that fire. As I got older, I watched my mom deal with that. And the strength of that woman to deal with that in such a way, she wasn't vindictive or angry at the young person who started that fire. She actually, her prayer was, pray for him, Lord. I forgive him because he know not what he did. And that was my mom. You understand? So when I tell you strength and courage, I honor this woman every day of my life by making sure that I keep in mind what I learned, what she taught me as a child. And as an adult, I want to make sure that everything I do, it's to honor my mom. Because I do understand her sacrifices to make sure that I got whatever I needed to be successful. She made sure of it. Like I said, I'm the youngest. She made sure that every sacrifice, it meant something to her to make sure that everything I needed, she made sure I had. And for that, I honor my mom every single day. So even though she's not here physically, I make sure I'm a living, walking testament to my mother. So that's why I wanted to honor her with this 200th episode of Napoleon's Corner. Love you, Mom. Continue to rest in heaven. And as you know, they say, job well done. Well, you definitely, it was a job well done while you were here. And I'm going to continue to be your living legacy. Love you. Take care.